Afternoon. How's everyone doing? Doing outstanding. All right, another great day in pads. Obviously, had a really good practice out there. You all know the guys had a day off tomorrow, but I thought on special teams they came out, they competed, they pushed through. Really excited about the way they practiced today. Very competitive. Flus had those comp periods, which was excellent, and the guys are out there really getting going today. So they'll have a good rest tomorrow. I know that for sure. But with that, we'll open it up to questions.
Seeing the kickoff rule in person in Canton, what did you take away over the lessons?
Yeah, I just took away that it happens really fast. It happens really fast. I took away that angles are really important, body types are really important, and really, I think Flus even said it. We're going to try some different things. He's heavily involved with the kickoff and kickoff return. We talk about it almost every other day or every day, really. Talked about it today, talked about it yesterday, and just took away that, guys with length, guys like Colin Johnson, what a hell of a play he made, for the first time being part of history. So just took away that it happens really fast.
Is length important to just be able to see over the blocker and shed them, or how does length help you now in a way that maybe it didn't last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it always helps. Like you always want your players bigger, faster, stronger, obviously longer. It always helps. I guess I wouldn't say that's the key to the kickoff, but it did help Colin on that play. That's a great question.
After the game, Colin said that once he started making plays on offense, you offered to take him off the special teams, and he said absolutely not.
Yeah, he did.
What does it say about him in terms of?
Yeah, it just says about the man that he's hungry, and he knows that he's aware, right? He knows that he needs to be in there. But what we like to do, honestly, is we want to get the best evaluation we can get on a player on defense and on special teams. So we kind of stack it to where I don't have a guy, if he's playing a ton of offense, playing a ton of special teams at the same time because it makes a bad evaluation for both. So really, it was his time to come out the game. But he didn't really want to come out, so we took him off a couple phases and kept him on one. But like just the attitude and effort and the energy that he played with is what we're looking for, and really that's what I live for. Two things: one thing is winning championships, and the other thing is helping kids like Colin Johnson, Jack Sanborn, all those kids that start young. That's what drives me as a coach and Coach Polk as a coach and all of the coaches that help on teams. So we just want them to keep making plays.
But there were a couple pretty big collisions on return. I know the second kickoff that Tyler took out, he commented on that. Were you expecting that, or was that just the product of maybe he should have kept that one, not taken that one out?
No, I think he should. I think he wanted to give our plan was to return all kicks. We want to get an evaluation on everyone, and our plan was to return all the kicks, no matter where they were. So he did a really nice job there. And then I think it's just we're all still learning on the kickoff. I didn't feel like there were any more collisions on a play than it normally is. I think it's a lot cleaner. I think it's got a chance to be a lot more dynamic, and we all just got to figure it out. We only got one game sample, We only got a couple kickoff returns, so it's too early to judge. But I really think that our players are really excited about it. Like they were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed like when they came in the meeting room yesterday to watch it. So that was good. They want an edge for kickoff. So, and they all celebrated Colin, obviously, when we showed that play.
Richard, you said more dynamic. What about this new kickoff leads you to believe that? Tyler Scott was also saying the same thing after the game.
Yeah, I just think, kickers are excited because they get a chance to showcase their ability. Returners are excited because they're going to be able to touch the ball a lot more. And then, as you know, like if you get a seam in there, it could go quick. So I just think I think it's great for the game right now. So it's exciting, and we'll see how it plays out, this week.
What was the balance for you? You say like everybody's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to try this thing out and learn, but not showing too much to future opponents. Like, where's that balance for you of like trying things but not trying too much?
Yeah, it's a delicate balance, honestly. Like we're trying to figure it out, and we're diving head first into figuring it out. Obviously, we have things that we're not going to show, just like other teams are not going to show. Granted, we're playing them in week 2, so I'm sure we were both very vanilla on both sides, and it should be a good going forward. But yeah, to answer your question, it's very vanilla both sides.
To that point, the idea of Tory not punting, is that just to not give them a look at this guy who's got a lot of different shots in his back?
Well, we had several guys not playing the game, and that's more like an organizational decision. We all talk about it, the guys that are playing and not playing. And I tell you what, Tory, he did a great job. He did play, but he only held, which is very important for the operation, right? To get him and Cairo and those guys in there in a live situation. But he did not punt, but he punted yesterday in practice. And out of, I don't know, it was 40 or so punts, he had 0 touchbacks, and we were working plus 50 areas. So I'm really proud of him for coming out yesterday doing that, and he's just growing. He's growing right before our eyes, and just can't wait to see him play.
The idea of having the 12th man to hold, I know you were part of some of the discussions that come up with this rule.
hmm
Did it come up in the sessions you were in? And was that hard to just kind of get over the idea that, no, we can have, football's 11 on 11, but we can have the 12th guy so long as he hustles off real quick?
Yeah, it's just part of something we practiced a lot last week. We practiced it a couple times, so Tory was well aware that he was doing it. He did a great job of holding and then picking up the tee right away, taking it off for safety reasons. But he did a really good job at that, and Cairo. And both Cairo and him have been practicing that, and then we practiced it 1 or 2 times with the team last week. So the guys were ready for it; they knew it, and we know that guy's just going to get off the field right away.
You guys weigh that versus having to take one of the 11 guys already on and bring them back to hold? Like, was that discussed? I would say it would put you at a disadvantage.
Yeah. So the rule is now you can have a 12th guy, and that guy can be any player, and you can still have your guys up there. That player just has to immediately exit the field.
I guess I'm just asking, did you guys, when you were talking about the rules, did you guys weigh that against just keeping 11 guys on the field and making one of those guys come?
Oh, you talking about in initial discussions with ownership and stuff like that? Yeah, we did, but we thought they would just be better because, someone would be at disadvantage with a guy back, and then, I'm with you. Yeah, we talked about it, but what happened was we initially said we probably were going to use the stick, honestly, use the kicking stick, honestly, but we just opted on that, getting a player, getting it out, getting the officials back in a position where they could see what was going on. So that ended up being several things were discussed, but that was one of the things that's discussed.
What have you come to appreciate about Tory since you've gotten him from draft pick, you guys were really excited about, to actually seeing him every day, and what he can bring for you guys as a weapon for this group?
Yeah, what I've seen from him is just growth every day. The person, like, first of all, he's a phenomenal teammate, and he's a really good person. So even if he wasn't a football player, he'd be a guy I think that guys would hang out in the locker room. And then being an elite talent only adds to that, and he's always trying to get better. One thing is clearly evident with Tory Taylor is he don't give a damn about anything but winning, and that's how I think. So that's why I really love this kid, and he wants to work on his craft every day so that he can put the team in a position to own the field. That's how he thinks. He doesn't think like, it's my time to punt or run or just trot out there. He's like, I'm owning the field. This is my field when I'm out here, and I'm gonna pin them for my defense. And that's the type of mentality punter I want, because that's a go-getter. That's what I want. So that's what I've grown to learn about him. And when he makes a mistake, he is the first one to say, I made a mistake, and what can I do to fix it? He runs towards criticism. He doesn't run away from it. And really, that's something he probably got from Charles Tillman, because Charles talked to us early on, and Charles told the rookies that, which he hangs on every word. Like, this kid takes a lot of notes. Like, he got a chance to be really good. Now, it's still early, and we're still got a lot of work to do. So I don't want to put the cart before the horse, obviously, but the kid is wired the right way. He's really wired the right way. And, hell, I could be up here talking about Tory Taylor for a long time, okay? But I will say this. In the game, Corliss Wayman, he punted his tail off. He did a really nice job in that game, and he had some really big time punts. So that kid is I'd be remiss if I didn't say how well he played. He held those guys to 4.5 yards of return. He had a big 52-yard punt that T. Moore caused the holding penalty on that flipped it 58-yard, a 58-yard field flip. All right, that pinned those guys back. He pinned somebody at the 1. He also had a punt out of bounds, a 49-yard punt out of bounds on the sideline. So, like, we're in a good situation right now. So,
A skirmish today in practice. What did Matt?
really? I didn't see it.
What did Matt Eberflus say to the team afterwards? Was he peeved about that, or was it controlled enough that it was okay? Or?
Yeah, you can ask Coach about that, really. What from my standpoint. Just go ahead. What'd you say?
Who's coming in today?
I don't know, but you can ask him about that when you get. Honestly, I understand that. All right, but it's certain things that I discuss and there's certain things that I don't discuss. All right, and I say that what I saw out there was a competition period with guys competing their tail off and guys trying to make each other better. And everybody shook hands afterward and everything was fine. And Flus can tell you how he felt about it because I really don't know the answer to that. But he was his normal self. I saw him being normal as he always is. So.
Richard, maybe it's too early to know this, but with this new kickoff, will this allow for more future returners to have that impact like Devin Hester used to? Is it too early to tell like that?
Yeah, it's still too early to tell, and I will still double down on what I said before. God only made one Devin Hester. So I don't know if we'll ever see another guy like that, but returners are definitely going to have an opportunity. And just going to the Hall of Fame, that's another cool story, seeing Devin talk to our guys and seeing how our guys lit up, like when he spoke, we're just all really happy for him. And then seeing our players going around looking at the different busts and just like, you can just tell like they were like kids in a candy store. And that was really cool. And we're so happy for all our guys that went in the Hall of Fame. Really happy for them.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Has Flus given you a nickname yet?
No nicknames as I know of, but that might come as the season goes on and the weeks progress. But to answer your question, no nicknames.
What do you think of Crocodile Punter?
Yeah, I definitely don't want that one. How original. I don't want any like Australian attachments or anything like that. So, in fact, if no one knows who I am, that usually means I'm doing a pretty good job.
Tory, we're here from the Yale Daily News. Can you talk a bit about your relationship with your other draft picks, specifically Karan Amagaji, the third rounder?
Yeah, Karan's a great dude, man. So we obviously like came in together. But yeah, Karan's just one of those guys like you'll see in the hallway, and he's always just says, "Oh, hey man, like what's going on?" He always goes out of his way to say hello. So yeah, Karan's one of like the nicest guys I've really come across in my football career in the last 4 or 5 years. So I think we're all really lucky to have someone like him, and he's a hell of a player as well, which certainly helps.
Are there any nuances that go into the holding for the kickoff and then running off the field? Like, looks like you just hold it, run off, but are there little details that maybe we don't know about with that?
No, it's pretty much just as simple as that. Yeah, just holding it for the way Kari likes it, and running off as quickly as I can. So that was really just a test for the NFL, as you guys know. So well, I just have to wait and see. Hopefully, there's not too many windy games where I'm needed out there.
Was there a part of you that wanted to be out there punting? I'm sure you were just doing what the coaches told you. Were you anxious to get out there?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's one of those things, like I love punting. Like I do it every day. But that's not the smartest thing for myself. So at the end of the day, that was the coach's call, and I'm happy to go with whatever they say. And I'll be, no matter what games I'm playing in, I'll be ready to go. So I'm excited to kind of get out there and get after it.
Tory, we were just talking to Richard Hightower. He said that like your mentality when you take the field is to own the field. Where did that come from that you, I guess, are taking it that seriously every time?
Probably like in my Iowa days, it was kind of one of those things that, and no knock to them, it was really one of those things that special teams and defense really kind of played a pivotal role in winning games for us at Iowa. So it was really one of those things that, and I think I may have mentioned it a few times before, there's really only, I guess, like the center, the long snapper, me, that really, I guess, have control of the ball. if that kind of makes sense. So I was kind of like, well, if I'm going to be one of the very few players with the ball in my hand, I'm really just going to go out there and try and dominate the game the way I want to. And I think it was probably after a year or so at Iowa, Coach Woods kind of said to me, he's like, man, like just go out there and own the field. And it was one thing that I never really thought about, but then I was kind of like, you know what, it's probably a pretty good mentality to just kind of go out there. I only got to go out there for really 10, 15 seconds. So it's one of those things that people kind of say, like, oh, do you ever really get nervous to kind of go out there? And I do, but it's really one of those things that I only got to focus for 10 seconds at a time, like really, really hone in and focus for 10 seconds. And I think really any human on the planet can focus for 10 seconds. So it's really one of those things that I think that's what's led to a lot of success.
Tori, we just saw Devin Hester get inducted into the Hall of Fame. How do you think you would have approached punting to a guy like that?
Either kicked it miles high in the air or out of bounds. Yeah, just scary. And I think the Bears did like a map of all these punts, punt returns. And yeah, it's just absolutely frightening to know that someone like that was returning punts. So I'm very, very lucky. Although if I did play for the Bears a number of years ago, I would have been lucky enough to play on the same team as him. But yeah, I'm glad I don't have to punt to him these days. I don't really know too much about Devin or anything like that, but you obviously see the highlights, and really that speaks for itself. So to answer your original questions, I'd probably just take a 40-yard punt out of bounds. You know what I mean? Because he kind of just you see a lot of clips of Hester, and a lot of the time they're actually like pretty good balls, and he kind of he turns nothing into something, which is pretty special, and I guess that's why he got the gold jacket.
You notice that when guys are first catching your punts, they have more trouble than perhaps they, once they get adjusted to what you do. Have you ever noticed you have an edge that way?
Not necessarily here. I'm really not too sure, because once I've hit the ball, I don't really kind of worry about what's going on. It's just like, okay, I'm going to reset, make sure like my breathing's back in pattern, and then kind of just focus on the next rep. And that kind of just comes down to, like, say I've got 6 reps in a period, it's really just going to be 6 sets of 1, not 1 set of 6. So I kind of just reassess and see watch the film after. But I know at Iowa, my coach would always tells me, he's like, man, and you could kind of tell there was a couple of balls that I wouldn't really hit so well, and returners were fair catching them. So it's kind of one of those things too that punters get a little nervous. It's like, oh man, what's a returner going to do? But the returner's just as nervous as well. You know what I mean? This is going to sound really funny, but it's kind of like snakes. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's kind of scared of snakes, but they're just as scared of you. So it's kind of one of those. It's similar to that, if that makes sense.
The obvious follow. Do you have experience with snakes? Is that
Oh, come on, man. What's with all this Australian snakes? I mean, I brought it up, but I actually nearly stood on a snake. It would have been like 7 or 8 years ago. So yeah, I have encountered a couple in my lifetime. But usually, if you just leave them alone, they'll leave you alone.
Any other follow-ups, Pat?
good?
I was curious, a lot of teams knew not to kick to Devin Hester.
Yeah.
But yet they did it anyway. Is kicking a 40-yard punt out of bounds that easy for you, or is it more difficult?
I mean, it's the NFL. Nothing is really easy, but a lot of the time it really just comes down to game plan and wind as well. You know, you're playing in the Midwest. It's one of the tougher climates there is in the NFL. So sometimes you might be lucky to only really get 35, 36 yards into wind when you go out to punt. But a 40-yard net in the NFL is, you probably like looking at top, 15 to 18. So yeah, obviously everyone's got their goals, and but you kind of I just go out there, and it's never a numbers thing for me. It's never like, oh, how much distance or hang time am I going to get on this one? It's just like, how can I make maximum contact with the ball? And a lot of that just comes back from repetition from the past.
Kyro's handling kickoffs. If something happened to him, how comfortable are you?
Oh yeah, very confident, and I've been working a lot of that stuff too. So yeah, I'll if Cairo Touchwood goes down, then I'll certainly. There's no one else that's going to be able to go out there and do it. So I'll be more than happy to put my hand up, and yeah, just kind of have to wait and see what happens.
Even with the new format and the precision and your more power legs, is that something that you're still very comfortable with?
Oh, absolutely. It's really just kind of it's one of those things that we're still learning as we go. And I never kicked off in college or anything like that. Never really practiced it, but I've been getting a few reps here or there. So yeah, I'm excited to see whether that eventuates. But Kara's certainly a lot better than I am, so he's our number one kicker for now for sure.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, guys.